Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. This is a B2-level ESL lesson. Today we're going to continue talking about reported speech and using it to talk about inventions. Alright, so we're going to listen to Jerry and Helen talk about Elon Musk, and you're going to be listening for the order in which they say these things. So you might want to pause the video, read through these on your own first, and then restart to listen, and then we'll determine what order they mentioned each of these things in.
If you could meet anyone in the world, who would you choose to meet?
That's simple. Elon Musk.
Good choice. He's an impressive guy.
Have you been following his most recent company, Neuralink?
Is that the company that is developing hardware to enhance the human brain?
Yes, Musk just announced that the first machine to connect humans to computers would be introduced soon.
Wow. What do you think about that?
Well, he's always thought that artificial intelligence would be a threat to humanity, so I'm glad he is trying to help humans compete with technology.
Is he worried that AI might be able to control too much of a person when connected to their brain?
I think we're still pretty far from that. Musk said that he hoped the technology could be used somewhat soon in medicine, helping people with vision, hearing, or mobility problems.
That would be great.
He believes that they might be able to work with human test subjects very soon.
It's amazing how he can be working on so many different projects at the same time.
I know, introducing electric self-driving cars, giving people a chance to live on Mars, and now increasing the ability of the human brain. Can you believe he is so young?
You're making me feel bad about myself. Elon's so much younger than I am.
Alright, so first they talked about Neuralink, that was one. Then they mentioned AI, artificial intelligence. They mentioned vision, hearing, or mobility problems, self-driving cars, and finally Mars. Alright, so we're going to listen again to Helen and Jerry as they talk about Elon Musk and which of these are reported by Helen and Jerry. So again, you may want to pause the video, read these, and then restart to listen and answer the question. And it says, in each case, which reporting verb introduces the reported speech? And there might be a new reporting verb here for you, so listen carefully.
If you could meet anyone in the world, who would you choose to meet?
That's simple. Elon Musk.
Good choice. He's an impressive guy.
Have you been following his most recent company, Neuralink?
Is that the company that is developing hardware to enhance the human brain?
Yes, Musk just announced that the first machine to connect humans to computers would be introduced soon.
Wow. What do you think about that?
Well, he's always thought that artificial intelligence would be a threat to humanity, so I'm glad he is trying to help humans compete with technology.
Is he worried that AI might be able to control too much of a person when connected to their brain?
I think we're still pretty far from that. Musk said that he hoped the technology could be used somewhat soon in medicine, helping people with vision, hearing, or mobility problems.
That would be great.
He believes that they might be able to work with human test subjects very soon.
It's amazing how he can be working on so many different projects at the same time.
I know, introducing electric self-driving cars, giving people a chance to live on Mars, and now increasing the ability of the human brain. Can you believe he is so young?
You're making me feel bad about myself. Elon's so much younger than I am.
Alright, so letter A was introduced by the verb announce. They didn't mention B. C was introduced by the verb think. D was not mentioned. E was mentioned by the verb, was introduced by the verb say, F by the verb believe, and G was not mentioned. Alright, so can you remember which structure we use with these reporting verbs? So confirm that plus a clause. So see if you can fill in the blanks here to see which ones would go for each of these. The verb plus that plus a clause, verb plus the direct object plus that plus the clause, verb plus a gerund, verb plus to plus the infinitive, and verb plus the direct object plus to plus the infinitive. So you can go ahead and pause the video, try those on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So we have confirm, agree, complain, find out, promise, and realize. And then inform, tell, and warn for verb plus direct object. Verb plus gerund would be admit, suggest, recommend, and apologize for. And verb plus to plus the infinitive, agree, promise, and refuse. And then verb plus the direct object plus to plus the infinitive is ask and invite. Alright, so now you can practice changing the direct speech into reported speech, and you can use any tenses and make any tense and make any other changes. So pause the video, try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So Jean-Philippe suggests reading the new novel by Albert Finn. April reminded me to bring a pair of hiking boots. Max refused to do it. Thomas admitted to eating the last piece of pizza. And Zoe agreed to start the conference call at 8:30. And here are a few more. Again, you can pause the video, try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. And more than one answer may be possible for each of these. So number 1, Chang recommends watching that series. Lewis promised to clean his desk. Astor invited us to his barbecue this weekend. Hilda asked us to arrive at the sports center by 7 p.m. Jeb apologized for being rude to them, and Ellie thinks we're immature. Alright, so now test how well you remember the different structures by choosing the correct verb. And you can pause the video and try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So number 1 would be, I reminded him to bring a good book to read. He warned that it wasn't a good restaurant. She said that she would arrive 10 minutes late. We recommended making a booking at the restaurant for Saturday night. We found out that she had been telling lies. He complained that some students had cheated on the exam. They refused to leave the building. Sharon invited us to stay at her country house. Reggie apologized for speaking during the movie, and she realized that she had forgotten to bring a present to the party, and he invited her on a vacation to London. So who was this woman, and when did she live? What did she do? And you can see if you can guess which of these statements is false. So Hedy Lamarr was once described as the most beautiful woman in film. She was born in Austria. She was a scientist and an inventor. Hedy left Europe to live in the United States. Hedy was married to an important scientist from Germany, and she died at the age of 86. So see if you can take a guess as to which of these are false, if any are false. So E is the one that is false. She was not married to an important scientist from Germany. All the others are true. All right, so now you can read the first part of the article about Hedy and answer the questions. You can pause the video, read on your own, or you can follow along as I read. Once called the most beautiful woman in film, Hedy Lamarr was much more than just a pretty face. She was also an inventive genius. Lamarr was born Hedwig Eva Maria Keisler in 1914 in Austria. She started acting and modeling at a young age. While on a boat headed from London to New York, she met Louis B. Mayer of MGM Studios. Upon arriving in New York, she had an acting contract and a new name, Hedy Lamarr. So who was Louis B. Mayer and what did he do? He was the president of MGM, a movie studio, and he gave Hedy a acting contract and changed her name. How did their meeting change her life? Well, it enabled her to become a fairly famous actress. And then read the introductory sentences again. What are we going to learn about Hedy Lamarr in the next part of the article? So it says she was much more than a pretty face. She was an inventive genius. So probably we will learn what she invented and why she was considered an inventive genius. All right, read the next part of the article. Again, you can pause the video, read on your own, or follow along as I read. With a combination of talent and beauty, it wasn't too long before Lamarr became a Hollywood movie star. Despite achieving international fame, Lamarr was not satisfied. She once stated, "Any girl can look glamorous by just by standing still and looking stupid." For her, there was more than that. In her trailer between scenes, she could be found inventing things. She claimed, "Improving things comes naturally to me." She created an improved stoplight design and a tablet that dissolved in water to make soda. However, her most significant invention was developed to help the United States as they prepared to enter World War II. So find two examples of direct speech. So here where she says, any girl can look glamorous just by standing still and looking stupid. And then improving things comes naturally to me. Those are the two examples of direct speech. Which reporting verb means to express something clearly? That would be stated. And which reporting verb means to say something is this way without providing evidence? Claimed. And was she famous? Yes, she was. She was a Hollywood actress. And what did she help to develop? An improved stoplight design, a tablet that dissolved in water to make soda, and then she invented something, we don't know yet what, that helped the United States as they prepared to enter World War II. Okay, so we do not change the word order in reported questions. Remember that there are WH questions and yes no questions. So pay attention to this as we usually change the word order after question words. Where are you going? And in reported speech, that would be she asked me where I was going. Are you happy? He asked me if I was happy. As you can see, we use a slightly different structure for the different question types. We use the normal word order for WH questions. They asked how long I had been living in Bilbao. She asked where she could find the nearest bank. When we report yes no questions, we introduce them with if. He asked if I would like to go to the concert. They asked if we were hungry. Now rewrite the questions in reported speech. Here's an example. Will you be at the party? Will Jeff be at the party tomorrow? And as reported speech, I wonder if Jeff will be at the party tomorrow. And the most common reporting verbs were asked, inquired, wants to know, and I wonder. So go ahead and try these, rewriting these questions using reported speech. And then you can restart the video when you're ready to check your answers. So number 1, Alice asked where the school was. Greta inquired if she could get a bus to the city. Stuart wondered how far the cafe was. Michelle wondered if you knew a good restaurant in the neighborhood. Ursula wanted to know if there was a doctor close by. Philip asked how much the flight to Verona was. David asked when the concert started. Jim wondered if we were happy with our exam results. And Cy wanted to know if they were hungry. Now read about Hedy's greatest achievement and answer the questions. Once again, you can pause the video, read on your own, or you can follow along as I read. Lamarr, along with George Antheil, came up with a new communication system to guide torpedoes to their targets in war. The system involved the use of frequency hopping, or a way of rapidly switching between frequency channels in order to prevent the signal interception. Lamarr's son, Anthony, described his mother as having a very intellectually curious mind, but unfortunately, this is not something that the public saw. It wasn't until later in her life that she received any recognition for her invention. Lamarr passed away at the age of 86. Today, Lamarr's concept is the foundation of spread spectrum technology, which is used for everything from Bluetooth and Wi-Fi to satellites and wireless phones. So why didn't the public know about Hedy until later in her life? What do you think? Well, it could be because at that period of time, women were not thought of as inventors, and she was also best known as a beautiful actress, and so there was sort of the idea that beautiful women couldn't necessarily be intellectually curious in addition to being beautiful. Alright, so now rewrite all of the direct speech about Hedy Lamarr and use the verbs provided and the structures that you have learned. Pause the video, try this on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So Alex wondered if she liked being an actress. Dieter stated that she was intelligent and beautiful. My grandmother told me she loved watching Hedy in movies. Hedy believed she would eventually become a famous scientist. Oliver wanted to know when she made her last film. Many people think she was one of the great stars of Hollywood. The public found out she was an incredible scientist. Zainab wondered if she enjoyed having two careers. So now write a dialogue in reported speech based on the information. Again, you can pause the video, try this on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check the answers. So yesterday I went to the doctor. Naturally, she asked me if I felt well. I told her I had a pain in my stomach. She asked what I had eaten recently. I hadn't eaten anything unusual, just a normal breakfast of fruit and porridge, and a couple of sandwiches for lunch. She wanted to know how much coffee I drank. Then I remembered that morning I had drunk at least 4 or 5 cups of coffee. She asked if I drank that much every day. I never really thought about it, but I guess that answer was yes. She complained that I drank so much. I promised not to drink too much coffee. She also recommended drinking more water. Alright, are the statements correct or incorrect? And if they're incorrect, can you fix them? Again, you can pause the video and try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So he complained to have too much work is incorrect. He complained that he had too much work. They asked if we wanted to see a movie with them. That one is correct. She wanted to know when he was coming. She wanted to know when was he coming, sorry. The correct form is she wanted to know when. Oh, this has a mistake in it as well. So she wanted to know when was he coming. It should be she wanted to know when he was coming. Number 4, he promised finishing the report by the end of the week. It should be he promised to finish the report by the end of the week. Number 5, I asked where was the sports center. It should be I asked where the sports center was. Number 6, he wondered that he made a mistake. It should be he wondered if he made a mistake. Number 7, they announced that the tennis match was canceled. That's correct. Number 8, she informed us about the weather is correct. Number 9, I reminded you bringing a gift to the party. Should be I reminded you to bring a gift to the party. Number 10, he told he was happy at the new school. It should be he told me or he told us that he was happy at the new school. And he complained that she too cheated. It should be he complained that she had cheated. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, participate in the comments, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.